Hello, my name is Kevin, and welcome to the October Anim Challenge. The winner of the Roadrunner Challenge is Vignesh Natarajan. So let's take a look at what you did, and congratulations, by the way. Alright, this is my first time seeing it, so let's check it out. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. Super classic, like Roadrunner, Wile E. Coyote style. I haven't used this rig before, so I don't know, if all these things are built in like that crazy whirlwind. That's amazing. I mean, on top of that, all the 2D effects. Wow, that's really great. Okay, let me just watch it a couple times just to kind of digest everything, but this is looking fantastic. Mostly anything that I'm going to say is probably, just minor polishy stuff and more like my own opinion, but honestly this shot is fantastic. Really nice use of design. Yeah, I can really see, I can feel the smears and not see it, which is great. Yeah, I can't wait to frame through some of these like parts with where he spins around really quick. I'm not sure if that's part of the rig, but that's really well done. The zip out is really nice. Yeah, that's great. I just noticed the tongue flapping. That's great. It's really nice. Ear flapping is nice. All the little secondary action is great. Oh, the nice like quick breathing at the end. It's really good. All right. Okay. So let's dive into this. So right off the bat, as I'm watching this, there's a few things that jump out at me. So the first part, these are just more minor polishy stuff. We'll get into the idea stuff in a bit, but this arm right here, you see it. It really feels IK. And I know maybe the steering wheel is maybe locked there and you can't pivot or something like that, but if there's any way you can kind of just relax the arm, maybe loosen the fingers up a little bit, so that you feel like it's not just locked into place like this. Like you can slightly bend the fingers a little bit towards something like that. It's a terrible drawing, but gets the idea. Because as you're watching this whole thing, as I'm focusing on that wrist alone, it's just locked, and it doesn't feel like the hand is actually part of the arm anymore. It just feels like, it's just pivoting from that point. So let's just find a way to, make that feel a little more alive. And overall too, like this finger, like the hand itself, the fingers are frozen in place pretty much the entire animation. Even when he comes back, this hand is still frozen in the same place. Fingers aren't like, like if I'm gripping anything like this, if I'm moving this, let me see that angle it. You see how as I'm moving, the fingers are gonna give, right? Like that. And then if you're gonna have it loose like this, if I'm moving up, it's gonna compress together. So this is the kind of stuff you want to pay attention to. This is more of the finer detail stuff. And I understand that it's, you only had that month to do this challenge. I don't know if you're working full time or not, but you may not have had the time to do it. But this is stuff just to think about. Same here, like this whole like sequence, all the way from, well, actually the entire shot, but as he's spinning around and everything like that, the hand and the fingers are just completely the same. Like this loose, like index finger right here, it never ever, tenses up or relaxes. So it just feels like, a solid piece as part of the steering wheel. And that can be something like you can add to the acting too. Like if you had the hands like grip tight, and then when he kind of sinks a little bit at the end, the way you have it, he can kind of relax a little bit, and that kind of gives that feeling of like the this little, like, you know, I messed up, or I got bested by the Roadrunner. Same note applies to the feet here. I'm just seeing it like as he's stretching up, and I like this motion, this overall motion where he's like, as he's gaining speed on the Roadrunner, he's also leaning forward ever so slightly. So that's really nice, and I like this kind of like idea that he's getting closer and closer, and he's like, oh yes, I'm so close to this guy, and then, you know, obviously the Roadrunner does that and completely tears apart his vehicle, but I love that feeling that he's gaining on him. Now, in terms of polish over here, I can see it. You kind of have, maybe not, I don't know. Yeah, it's like the feet are completely still, and this pinky right here isn't touching the ground. I think it's kind of up. But there's a way you can kind of pull that down a bit. That would probably work a lot better. And maybe if there's like a ball roll, you can like start to push off of it a little bit. And also on top of that, you can also use a toe roll that maybe, so it starts lifting off completely like this. So it's like almost if he's on his tippy toes, really trying to get closer to the Roadrunner. And on top of this, like maybe the tail here, like as he gets more excited, maybe it goes up more overall. I mean, I like the overlapping action you have. That's really nice. But just in terms of like the design of the shape, I'm not sure. I haven't watched like Wile E. Coyote stuff like for a long time, so I don't know how active his tail is. But in terms of an animation standpoint, like it would be nice to kind of see some kind of shape change, just to, you know, signify how excited he is. Same thing with like the rest of his body, really. Let's see, let's check it out. Like maybe right here. So as he's leaning forward here, maybe his shoulders can move a little bit. Either it comes down or it comes up. Punch. It depends on how you want to play it. It just needs to see some kind of shape change to signify that overall emotional change. Let me see. Same thing with the middle of the body here, like this midsection feels very stiff overall. So maybe like some kind of rotation that will, like, you know, maybe he's like leaning forward with his chest out a little more, or he's concave like this and trying to lean forward. I don't know what you want to do with it. I also kind of want to clean up this shape a little bit. Like it feels like a little weird where it's almost as if I cut it off here at this section, I would think that the coyote is standing up this way. But then on this section, let me just record one frame. If I cut it off here and I'm looking at this, then I'm thinking that the body is going this way. So let's just try to clean it up so that maybe, you know, it's like a cleaner shape. You can have a slight curve down for the feet and all that, but let's just keep it clean. Like let's not get this like weird little negative space here. You know, let's clean that up a bit. I'm pretty sure you can probably like rotate the hips this way in RX just to kind of fix this little lump. Just keep it a clean shape overall. That's all right. Let's see. Let's keep watching. Yeah, and it seems like this rig has a lot of like you know, controls over pretty much every aspect. That you can even sync the cheeks and the nose and all that stuff. So it's really nice to see all this overlapping action for the ears. But could we get a little bit? I know that the snout and everything is not going to be as, you know, loose. It'll be a little more rigid. But it's a cartoon, so let's just give a little bit of like an overlapping action, like, you know, just a tiny bit, just a little bit, like, you know. Same thing with the cheeks. That'd be nice, just a nice little touch. Same thing with the jaw too. Like if the tongue's like moving, like if the tongue's moving this way, the jaw's gonna react a little bit to the tongue, just to kind of show a little bit of more of like an organic movement to it. Yeah, that would add a lot. I think. Oh, I see some in the cheeks. I just want maybe a little tiny more, and maybe like the mouth corners are reacting to the cheeks moving too, so you can kind of see that. Because like as I'm looking at it, as I'm playing it, it just feels a bit stiff. And you could do this all on like an anim layer too, so you don't. It's like very non-destructive. I'm not sure if you've used anim layers before, but it'd be a great way to kind of start like layering on this extra secondary animation that won't destroy what you already have. So let's look at that. Maybe the brows. That's kind of like the furry brows can flap. I'm not sure if it has controls on that, but yeah. Okay. So that's that. I will say if we can shift his eyeline. I know this is getting super nitpicky, but let me do something. Better sense of eye direction. You see how I'm like really going to the edge of it? It makes it look like he's actually looking at him, whereas here I feel like he's, you know, maybe looking off into space somewhere past him, maybe even like this way, you know. Where this, he looks exactly like he's looking directly at the Roadrunner. See the difference? Let me see. And there's the eyeline stuff there's a lot of parts that you can improve here. Same thing with this one right here. I don't know, this kind of looks like he's looking all else off where, like behind the coyote. So maybe if we clean that up a bit. Like that. See the difference? Yeah. Let's get the eyeline to really work. And same for this one right here, like it goes. See that? I'm not sure you can make the pupils bigger, but maybe it might make them look a little too cute, a little off model. But as long as you can get the eyes to really become right at the edge of it, and so you can really see. Right. Yeah, all this eyeline stuff can really, you can get another pass on this. All right, let's dive into some nitty-gritty stuff. Let's see this transition. First of all, I love this wheel. I'm guessing it's part of the rig. It's awesome. Oh, I like the way you did there's a wave on it, kind of. And I like that. I think we can push this a little more, because as I'm framing through this, I'm seeing ways that you can really improve the actual motion of the wheel. So from here, it goes like this. So there's some parts where it holds for a frame, and then it goes on ones, and it holds for a frame. It might be a little bit funky. So let's see, if you did this, and you start here, like that, that's good. And then here, it's starting to flatten out. Yeah, like that, that's good. And this one can like go down even further, like this. just, I'm not gonna color this, I'm just gonna draw it. So, yeah, this shape, nice and clean. This shape. So framing through it, I can see that it's starting to, like this corner right here is lifting up, so the part of it is starting to drag down, whereas this corner is coming down, and it's starting to come down, more like leading from with this section right here, and then this part is coming down. So that I would think that at this point it would come down like this, something like that. And then I can end here, which is nice. So from here, sink down, and then I'll move the hump of the apex back here. There you go. So you start here, sink down, and then do that. So it's kind of like this roll that happens. And you can do that throughout the entire cycle, then it's going to really feel like that the legs are really pushing up and down. So you can kind of create that that motion of the feet running, as opposed to just having a wheel, because now you have the shapes really pushing and pulling to kind of propel the feet forward and the overall the Roadrunner forward. Yeah. Anyway, so let's look at this part. Let's see this revision. I like this. I like how stiff everything is, because it feels very reminiscent of the way that the cartoons used to do it. I'm pretty sure you probably did a lot of research to get to this point. I will say, I wish there was one, maybe something. I just want like a bigger shape change. Like maybe from this part right here, maybe it's like he's like bending further like this, with his hair like that, and his tail. Something like, you can keep everything else. Maybe not even bend his neck. Maybe a little bit, but all the feathers and everything are coming down. And since it's like wrenches coming out of nowhere, I would maybe do some like multiples or like a smear of some kind to kind of show that it came out from like behind him. Yeah, and so this part right here, like the stiffness of the body is great, but then the feathers and everything could like kind of overlap and hit its final point, like maybe a few frames after. And same with this arm here. If you have multiples here, you can probably get this up even further along. Like that. Yeah, and then the tongue animation here, I like that you started with. But yeah, there's like some weird arcs here, so you can just clean it up a bit. So from here it goes, let me see, let me get a different color. Is this nice? Let's push it. That's good. Yeah. So yeah, I think that will look a lot better, because you really show kind of where the tongue is coming from. You can kind of see that you know, the tip kind of dragging from where it's coming from. Alright, let's keep going. Nice, this is great. I like this. This is really nice. Let me see if this is the point of what I'm looking at. This is the tail. Might extend it a little bit, but yeah, overall, pretty great feel for me. And if this is this last point here, this ghost in this. Sort of. I would try to keep like, I know mechanically maybe you want to turn the foot around, but it's such a big, well actually, no actually wow, it's impressive. Let's then if we're gonna do this, if this is the shape of the other foot but it's still the same color as, you know, the screen right foot, you can fake it a little bit. So you can just lower this foot here so that it takes the spot of the screen left foot. See that? So that the transition is a lot nicer. And you can lower it a little bit or change the shape just a tiny bit, but overall you're going to take the spot of this foot with the other foot on this transition. That would give it a, oh, this is, let me see if I can erase this. Super messy. Alright, let me just get this better. So this is here. So this is the foot before this. You can kind of like maybe like, yeah, you can lower the foot to this angle here. I'll change different colors. I can do it clear like this. So lower, get that silhouette in there. So that it takes the spot of the screen left foot. So that it's a nice, easier transition into the smear. Alright, so this right here, I'm guessing either you created this or this is part of the rig, which would be super impressive, whoever made this rig. If you're gonna have him immediately go into this, let's start to bend him into a different color. Around a bit, like, you know. So can I like tweak his head a little bit? Maybe his beak is like actually, it's like bent, starting to come around. Because when you do this kind of smear, especially in cartoon animation, you can get away with a lot. Like it's really you can get away with so much and you can move so fast in very little time. As long as you give the necessary frames and lead and following action. You can move as fast as you want, you can move as far as you want, as long as you can cover that gap. So if you're gonna have him start to turn this way, so let's have everything start to turn that way. You know, the feet here might be okay, but maybe I feel like, you know, it'd be better if it starts to wrap around the wheel. This complex shape here, like it looks cool in this smear frame here, but you know, maybe be more effective. It would, you know, show that it was starting to wrap around. And this little lump here, let's just right here, let's just straighten that out if we can. Maybe even like for this part right here, you can like, I know you won't really see it, but put the eye there. And like this, sorry, this wrench right here is like the culprit that's going to like take apart this whole vehicle, right? So I wonder if, I mean, I'm not sure if this would even work, to be honest, but if like, you kind of want to see it, so maybe this whole thing is like the wrench, like a huge smear of it. Like that, you know? Like that would sorry, that would signify like that he's going to use the wrench, maybe. Just blow it up, huge, and then in this streak in so that you can have the wrench, you know, like multiples like popping it out, you know, so we kind of know that, you know, he's using the wrench to take off. And then you can have stuff like nuts and bolts and stuff like that, like fly out here and there. This is the wrench again, this is the wrench, this is the wrench, you know. So on and so forth. I see some bolts coming in. Yeah, that's great. So let's do more. Let's do more. It's a cartoon, right? Endless bolts. Infinity bolts just leaving this thing. And you know, you can have parts of the vehicle popping in and out. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you know, a little more props, just start importing more stuff in there. But you know, like when you watch any cartoon, like there's just like endless supplies just like popping in and out of stuff. That's just kind of what you want to do. Does that make sense? Not really. It's a cartoon, right? Alright, cool. Blah blah blah. So from here. So this is a cool smear, but I think it should. If the head is here, then it should be heading towards that head right here. I feel like it looks like it's going up this way. So let's try to really make that a little more precise. And if the feet are here, maybe you're going to want to extend it a little bit. Maybe a slight, like a slight drag here with the feet, and then it comes up. Same with the tail. So you kind of have it for the tail, but it feels like there's like a spacing pot, like from here to here, and then it just dies. So let's resolve that a little bit better. And it seems like this part is moving, and then the rest of the tail is stiff. Yeah, just get a little more of a nice little, you know, overall action right here, overlap right here. Okay. Yeah, and then you kind of hide the wrench here. Let's just show it in plain sight. It's great. I just look at that. It's nice. I would say you seem to have a very similar pattern for this tongue thing. Let's fix that. But I was the same drawers I had earlier. So for this part here, it'd be really nice if you made this impact a lot bigger. So from here, he looks at that, right? I mean, I guess you don't want to change position too much because of that cartoony sake, but sure, let's just take that out real quick. But I want the frame immediately after this to be a lot bigger, like really play that impact. From here, like you could, I mean, I'm not sure what this rig can do yet, so squash it, his head like this, maybe even push it down here. His ears can like spread apart like this, kind of thing. His shoulders can hunch up, his fingers can grip, his tail can like, you know. I just want a bigger transition because right now, I feel like this is very soft. He hits and then it just kind of resolves like this, and I want you to hit this pose and kind of like settle into it for like a frame or two, and then pull back to this, so you can really feel that little impact, bonk, kind of thing like that, and then you can settle into the pose you have now. But as I'm playing this, it feels very soft the way it hits. So you kind of want to see that impact pose, hold it for a bit, and then transition back here. You know, so this right here feels a bit too soft, too like unrealistic, not realistic, but more too organic of a result back. So let's push the cartooniness and like really go from like pose and then transition, hit, transition, like that. Alright, let's quickly look at this Roadrunner running out of the scene. This is the tail. Let's clean our tail. Let's get this to be nice and round shape. The tail's coming from here. We're gonna do this. This is a nice tail, but let's drag it from where it's coming from. Same with this wheel. Can you push the wheel down this way, I suppose? I'm just trying to get it to come from where the feet are. And then maybe the wheels like this. Pop it up. Come up here. You don't have to stretch it out too much. It might feel a little slow if you have it here and it's barely moving. Yeah, good. Yeah, alright, cool. Maybe a little bit of the orange left. So yeah, so like the start here, hit, impact, then he turns. Yeah, this whole transition here, which I like the fact that you kept his eyes on, like us, so you can kind of see the entire time, which is really nice, and you kind of really spun him around, which is a really great choice, by the way. Most of the time, I'm really focusing on the eyes to kind of see the character's reaction. So the fact that you tried to keep it on screen as long as you can, great choice. I will say, for the most part here, you might want to track the head a bit in terms of this transition. There's the arcs and everything. It's feeling a little off. The spacing might be a little off. I think you have some crashing here. But on top of that, the nose, I feel like it needs to be a little more loose. It needs to have a little more overlap. Yeah. Some bend to it. And the part right here where he like sinks down, like you can overlap a little bit. Okay, see he's so still, you know, and this overlapping action can just be like a really nice like, you know, super defeated. Like the same way you had it for this tail, which you can probably track this a little better. Here, maybe the tail come like this. Yeah, something like that. And when he sinks like this is the same thing with the shape design note for this overall pose here, where the changing shape. When he sinks like this, let's get everything synced a little bit. Let's get his feet, like he's on the balls of his feet here. Let's get it sinking down. Knees sink, his whole overall posture sinks, his shoulders sink, so that it just feels the whole overall body's like this defeated, you know. Minor little animation is like this wheel right here. You might want to see, because it looks like it's just traveling on one plane right now, like TY. And so you might want to have a little arc or something like that, just to kind of break up that look. It feels a bit IK, a bit robotic. You can pull, and if he's gonna sink from here, he's gonna sink. To me, it might feel a little strange that if he sinks down, like he wouldn't pull it up to his chest like this. Maybe he just lets it droop even further. So maybe drop it further, maybe it even like, yeah, like just drops further down here. Not too much, just a tiny bit. Like, I would just take what you have and flip the curve upside down so that he's dropping it down, but then maybe he drops it down and, you know, so imagine like the energy, like you're so defeated that you drop you kind of like, let the wheel drop and towards you, because you're kind of like letting your arm like strength just kind of relax a bit. Yeah, same note for the nose here, would be for the cheeks too. Got a nice little overlap, would be nice. Alright, let's look at the way the car is breaking. I mean, I like it. It's really nice. Can we get this wheel not behind and in front? I like to keep track of that wheel. Can you push the squash a little bit? So that it can come up like that. Yeah, something like that. You can really feel it. Something like that. A bouncy ball, you know. Nice 2D effects. That's great. Alright, cool. Another simple eyeline note. Let's keep it to the front. Yeah, overall, that's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, all the stuff here is just like, it's like the final stage. Yeah, you already have the shot. It's already like 95%. So let's get that last 5%. You know, they're just saying about 1,000 paper cuts. You know, 1,000 paper cuts. One paper cut won't kill you. But 1,000, yeah, that's gonna do some damage. So this is just me adding little tiny paper cuts just to really, you know, finesse this amazing shot already. So, you know, if you have the time, you know, and everything that I say here, like I said, it's like my opinion too, so take it with a grain of salt. But you know, this is just me trying to improve your shot that's already amazing. So yeah, but great shot, and great job on this, and congrats on winning. And hopefully you found this very helpful. All right.